Welcome to another edition of the Battery Podcast.
With your host, with the most.
With the host, with the most. Today we're going to be all over the place because we didn't really plan this one as much. Although you guys got a couple bonus episodes with, I believe you guys have been introduced to the one and only Tower, right?
I don't know. No. I don't think we did it. We posted it.
But it's going to, eventually it's going to
It might
air.
be a different podcast. But,
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right.
We
Well,
have another guest, or
yeah.
it's like, good friend
It's
of
gonna,
Jesus.
yeah. So, anyway, but anyway, so yeah. Either way, we had plenty of content out just this week alone, and we're gonna start off with, was it UFC 239?
I think it was 239. I'm pretty sure it was 239.
Last Saturday.
Oh
my gosh.
Technically, it was John Jones versus
Santos.
But
And
everybody knows the people's fight was
Askren versus Masvidal. It's the one I was there for.
No doubt.
I was there for that fight particularly because that fight's been building up for the last few months since Masvidal knocked out Till and Askren's controversial win over Robbie Lawler.
Dude, Masvidal is getting it right now.
Yeah.
I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
because he's been in the game for like 16 years.
Yeah.
He's finally getting recognition.
Yeah. I didn't discover Masvidal until he first time I ever saw Masvidal fight was when he fought Wonder Boy. And that was easily 3 years ago, I think. Maybe even longer than that.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't really think much of the guy, and I heard he came from the street fighting era, and I never really thought much about him, and then he made a resurgence. Well, he resurfaced when he was supporting his friend Colby Covington. Yeah, because they're training partners at American Top Team.
Dude, Fat Boy showed me a video of them wrestling for straight hour.
30. It was like 30-minute video.
No, it was a straight hour.
It was in their apartment, right?
Yeah.
I watched that.
Shit up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
those are jackasses, but
yeah.
Like I mean,
yeah, it is what it's, and so yeah, that's when he made he resurfaced out of nowhere when he was supporting Colby. I think it was in his fight against RDA. I remember watching that fight, but then I saw him knock out Darren Till, and I thought, oh wow. That was impressive as hell, He completely derailed. Talk about derailing a hype train.
Yeah.
That was ultimate derailment of a hype train.
Darren Till was looking like a fucking savage.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing nothing wrong. Darren Till is a legit fight, and I think he has a promising career.
No doubt.
He definitely, he's young, dude. He's younger than me.
Yeah.
I think I'm older than him by a year. I think I have one full year over him. So yeah, he got
thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
Same thing with Sage Northcutt.
Sage Northcutt, yeah.
Remember that nasty ass knockout that he got in?
Yeah.
Because I mean, going from one thing to another.
Yeah.
Those are different.
The UFC promotes certain fighters very differently and very weird. They have a weird way of promoting certain fighters, and they try to bring them up, and they hype them up, and sometimes it just doesn't end well for them. Darren Till, I think, is a different story, though. I think he still has a promising career. He's very early in his stage, and he's very young. I think Kevin Lee is another guy who still has
I'd say if it wasn't for some people, I think Kevin Lee would be champ.
Yeah.
Mainly, I think it was Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, Khabib,
no,
yeah.
Khabib too, yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So, no, Kevin Lee has another,
But he's like 28, 29, right?
Yeah, no, he's also 27. 27? Yeah, 27. Damn. Like, he's my age. Like, I know he's, like, right around my age. So yeah, these guys are young. They got a lot of they have a long way to go. Randy Couture was 34 when he made his debut. I
think Uriah is like 40.
Yeah, and then DC is 40 and he's champ.
There you go.
He's double champ. Anyway, back to that. And Masvidal's been around in the game for quite a while. And he's been brewing up a shitstorm, especially right after his knockout, his famous knockout against Darren Till. He gets into a backstage brawl with forgot what the hell that guy's name was.
Dude. I'm gonna say
Lewis something. I think his last name was Lewis.
I was gonna say Aljamain Sterling, but no, it's not him.
No. But anyway, he gets into a brawl backstage, and that just made him insta famous.
Yeah.
He just the three piece in a soda.
Yeah, dude, that shit's going out like crazy. I've been seeing all kinds of memes like that.
Yeah, 3-piece in a soda, and so now.
Oh, did you happen to notice that? When he walked up to that guy before he decked him,
He had his hands behind his back.
Same thing.
With Ben Askren. He's just a street fighter, man. Don't
let him put his hands behind his back.
Yeah. No, that's a street fighting tactic.
Yeah.
You don't see that in MMA. You see that in street fights.
No doubt. And he's probably been in a lot of.
Yeah, those. I think that's what makes him dangerous is because he doesn't have the same mentality of. He's not an athlete type mentality. He doesn't have an athlete.
There to survive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like he's like the Nate Diaz style fighter,
exactly.
and different styles of fighting, but same personality type.
Yeah.
And so Ben Askren. Now let's go to the other side of the coin. Ben Askren could arguably be the polar opposite of George Masvidal in the terms of like. Fighting style and all around personality. Yeah. I mean, this guy's more of a academic. He comes from college wrestling, similar to Colby, but he took it a step further and actually competed in the Olympics.
He's a manimal.
Yeah, and so this guy, he was a Bellator and one champion. By basically out wrestling everybody. And eventually this was gonna happen. So this fight was being built up because there was actual real legit animosity between the two fighters, and we know that it's real animosity now because UFC no longer has to sell trash talk fights since they've switched over to ESPN because they're under ESPN. So UFC recently switched from Fox, I believe, to ESPN Plus. So now they don't actually have to do a lot of selling for the fights anymore as much as it's subscribe based, exactly. Whereas before it was pay-per-view based. So the fact that this happened well after the transition between Fox to ESPN. So now and Masvidal and Askren were just at each other's throats. But mainly it was Askren. Let's be real. Ben Askren was kind of goading Masvidal. He was.
I mean, I'd say Askren was being Askren.
Yeah, he was being Askren. He wasn't. Here's the thing. He wasn't legitimately attacking him on a personal level. He's just like, I'm gonna beat you, and that's that.
Yeah.
And George Masvidal was not having any of that.
Yeah, I get you. What's it called?
Yeah, he was not having any of that, and so Masvidal comes from the streets. That's hence his new nickname, Street Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, or Cuban Jesus.
Huh?
Cuban Jesus.
Cuban Jesus. Yeah. Well, anyway, so this fight was built up. Real animosity, mainly from Masvidal's camp. He just doesn't like Askren. Well, now they don't like each other. Period.
No, yeah.
And finally the day comes, and I don't know what, this is the same kind of, it was this insane flying knee.
It was
perfectly timed. It was perfect. And
something you'd see out of a movie kind of shit.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because Masvidal is smiling before the fight. He is just, and you could see it in his eyes. It's like, this guy is good. He said it. He said, this guy is an idiot. He's going to bite. This guy's totally going to fucking bite the bait because Ben Askren's known as a wrestler and he's going to go for your legs particularly. And he's thinking, okay, this guy's going to bite. I have something in store for him. And after the fight, a few footage was released of him practicing that flying knee. I think shortly before, maybe even months in advance to the.
I think it was like a
fight.
week before, honestly.
Yeah, and they were like, yeah, he's gonna bite. He's gonna want, and his intention was not even to knock him out. He had every intention to actually stay in there for 3 rounds straight with Askren.
He wanted to fuck him up.
He really wanted to beat him. To beat him to a bloody pulp, and His intention with that flying knee was never to knock him out, but to check him and basically tell him that shit's not gonna work. That single leg takedown's not gonna work on me. That wrapping up is not gonna work on me. Trying to staple me to the mat is not gonna work on me. I will knee you in the face, and that's that. And it worked in his favor. He landed it beautifully it was like not in the face. Technically, he landed it like right
forehead, top of the head.
Top of the head / next to his neck as well. It was like it scraped from his forehead to the neck.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, if you watch the replay, you could see it. But yeah, it was legit. It was beautiful.
Fastest KO.
Yeah, fastest KO of UFC history. Damn. Like, damn. And the thing is, coming into this fight, I didn't root for either one. Like, I liked both of them. Like, they were both, and I still liked both.
Same. I'm still disappointed in how so little I know how. I don't know how good Ben Askren is in the UFC yet.
Yeah.
Just because, his last one, he got beat to shit. His first one, he got beat to shit. And then came back out of nowhere.
Yeah, he recovered.
And fucking got a submission. Like, it was like the quickest turnaround I've ever seen. Or like the gnarliest turnaround. And then this one, you don't get to see him like
really fight. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The good news is we know that Askren's not done. He's made a famous interview shortly after with Ariel Helwani, and that kind of like that somehow boosted his ratings up. Yeah. And that's true. Like he handled that loss the way it should have been. He's like, you know what, I lost. That was it. I came up short, and I can't make any excuses. And he straight up said, look, I don't like Masvidal, but I tip my hat to him. He caught me. Like, he did what he needed to do, and he put me away. I'm not going to make any excuses. So we know that Askren's not done. We know that he's still going to come back, and we'll see. We'll see. Like, I think future matchups for Askren right now, since he doesn't have he needs to rebuild his title, his road to the title, would be...
How crazy would it have been? Or... Yeah, like if he won this one.
Yeah, he would have gotten. Chances are he would have either that or he would have faced Colby. Because that's another thing. Shot. There's you just made me realize the welterweight division is starting to fire back up now again, because now we have Colby facing Robbie Lawler. Pretty soon. Okay. In the next main event, it's Colby versus Robbie Lawler, and winner of that fight is gonna go up against Usman. I think right now Usman might be injured. Yeah, he's nursing an injury. He's recovering. So, winner of that fight is gonna take on Usman, which is great. I can't wait to see that. So not only that, but since Usman is still recovering, they may have to. There's a good chance that Masvidal and Colby might have to fight for the interim. Yeah. And that makes things even more interesting because, of course, Colby and Masvidal are teammates. That's like if DC fought Cain Velasquez. Yeah. Except DC and Cain Velasquez are legit friends.
And honestly, yeah, that's true.
And whereas Colby and Masvidal, we've seen them interact with each other. I mean, we all know they've known each other for a very long time, and they're teammates and they're friends, but they're not. I don't think they were best of friends because they both said it. They both said it in multiple interviews.
Chuck and Tito, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like we like each other, we're friends, we're teammates, but if it comes down to it, business is business.
I feel like Masvidal's like that.
Masvidal's like that. We still don't know how Colby's gonna react to that. Like. But yeah, if it comes down to it, they both know business is business, and they're gonna. So it'll still be an interesting fight. It'll make things very interesting. Damn though, that fight Colby versus Masvidal is gonna be interesting. If I really, Masvidal's been just on fire though. Like I just don't want to. I don't want to count him out.
Who did Colby beat for the title?
He beat RDA.
Bad?
I mean, he dominated him. Like, it wasn't like
Okay.
it was a decision. It was a clean decision for sure because he dominated the fight. He utilized what he has best, which is he's a Pac-10 Division 1 wrestler.
Okay.
Like he could clearly see it against someone like RDA. And we can all make the distinction that RDA was coming up from the lightweight division, but the thing is RDA, he tore through Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
Prior to that fight, so he destroyed Robbie Lawler.
I remember that.
So Colby destroyed. He didn't destroy RDA, but he beat him.
Yeah.
He definitely beat him. He didn't knock him out. He didn't. There wasn't. RDA didn't.
No
take,
controversy.
Yeah, no controversy. But RDA didn't take that much damage either. It was like he just dominated.
Okay.
It was the same with Usman versus Woodley. It's like it was clear decision win, but Usman didn't. Didn't destroy. Woodley didn't take that much damage. He was just dominated inside 5 rounds, and so it's just one of those. It's just my point is the welterweight division it's being shaken up the same way that the lightweight division is.
And then did you hear Khabib's trying to get the legacy fight with GSP?
Oh. Oh man!
Yo, I think GSP could do something crazy like this to Khabib.
Like,
Just like
well,
crazy
dude, because
flying
here's
knee.
the thing: GSP has a very distinctive fighting style. First of all, GSP is one of the best at adapting.
Yeah.
He's one of the best at adapting, and not only that, the fact that GSP has killer wrestling from not having a D1 background, it says a lot. Not only that, but the way he sets up his takedowns is perfect. Because he is the prime example of a guy who knows how to utilize wrestling for MMA. Coming from a guy who I have an extensive wrestling background, the way I wrestle now is different than the way I would have wrestled in collegiate and Greco-Roman style. I wouldn't be, my setups would be very different, and GSP knows how to set up takedowns in MMA. Takedown setups in MMA versus takedown setups in just collegiate or college wrestling is radically different. You're not gonna wrestle the same way, and even then, I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now, and when you train Jiu-Jitsu, like especially like once you start getting in upper belt level, like blue belt and on, which is where I'm at right now, like you kind of start developing your style. And I know for a fact, I still retain my heavy wrestling style. I'm a pressure fighter, and so GSP, he has his distinctive style. He knows how to set up those takedowns. Similar, I think him and a guy that I feel gets over. I don't think he's overlooked, but like he's not in the radar. But he's in my radar for sure. Is Frankie Edgar? I think Frankie Edgar is basically a small version of GSP.
Really?
If you really watch the way he fights, he has a very, very similar style to GSP, where he knows how to set up his takedowns in it for MMA. And again, Frankie Edgar, I think he's an All-American in college wrestling, so he's legit. Like he's flying under most people's radar, but he's in my radar. Like again, that's the way I describe Frankie Edgar. He's basically just a smaller version of GSP. And let's not forget, he was the lightweight champion for a while. So this will be interesting. Lightweight division is going to be fun to watch these next few months. The welterweight division is going to be extremely fun to watch. Middleweight division, what's going on? Robert Whittaker and Adesanya. That'll be interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Masvidal called out
Conor
yesterday.
Who isn't calling out Conor?
Very true.
But
tell me why I like all of these fights.
There's
there's like a couple that I didn't like against Conor, but like honestly, Cowboy versus Conor would have been dope as fuck.
That would have been dope as fuck. Exactly.
Masvidal versus Conor.
I'm still, again, my dream fight was for Cowboy, and Dallas and I have been going back and forth on this because we both have our own guys, and I've been saying it. For 2 years straight, I've been saying Cowboy versus Gaethje would make an amazing fight. And that's a fight for the fans. That's straight fan service. Casuals need not apply, basically, for this fight. Yeah. Cowboy versus Justin Gaethje. That's a fight that needs to happen. Here's what I would love to see. I think they should make Dustin in the same card. We should have Dustin and Khabib, And then we have, Tony Ferguson just won, so Tony would have to fight probably Gaethje, because Gaethje's in the top 5 right now. He's coming off of 2 KO wins. 2 straight KO wins. He's on a roll. Same with technically, Tony has 2 decision wins from Dr. Stoppage.
Yeah.
The Anthony Pettis and Cowboy.
That's El Cucuy
which
right there.
sucks. Yeah, but that's another good fight. Tony versus Gaethje, and both of them are both coming from 2 straight wins. Of course, Gaethje has a 2 straight knockout streak right now, so this is interesting. Again, the lightweight division, super fun to watch right now. Heavyweight division, you just got Stipe and DC, which will be fun to watch.
Honestly, I feel like it's a matter of time before Ngannou gets that
belt. You think so?
It's only a matter of time. That guy, he only has a little bit of time left to be great. To be honest, which is like what? He's 34, I think.
Oh no, he's got easily 4 years. 4 years.
4 years.
I'd say
but
he is.
He's got to step up his game, and I think he's.
He is.
I think he's doing it.
He's doing it. Yeah,
that fool
definitely.
is fucking scary, man. You cannot get touched by that.
Oh,
guy.
I know. Like
I don't know how.
How Derek Lewis ended up
I don't know how Stipe beat him. I really don't. But then again, that was before he was. That was before Ngannou was better.
Known, yeah, as
like that. He was very fresh off the fucking. Yeah. I don't even know how long he was training before that.
Well, Ngannou did not have any extensive training at all. Like, exactly.
That guy's just a freak of nature.
What usually happens with the heavier guys, a lot of the heavier guys have usually a lot of the heavier guys have the capacity to come into the game a little later in life than the lighter weight guys. I've noticed, because look at Brendan Schaub, look at Randy Couture. Randy Couture is a bad example because he had extensive wrestling background. But look at Travis Brown. Look at Francis Ngannou. Like, all these guys are on the heavier side of the fight game, and they have no extensive Derek Lewis, yeah. You're starting to see it, but I don't know if it's just because...
Well, it's because, they're just full of power. They're like,
they have heavy hands, I guess.
Do this.
Yeah. I guess it's usually what happens with these guys. It's like,
I honestly don't think there's been like a born-bred so far heavyweight champ. Okay. Who?
No. Yeah, Stipe didn't. Yeah, Stipe's another perfect example. He wrestled in high school, but it wasn't like he didn't have like a dense wrestling background, and he went to college, and I think he played baseball during that time or something like that.
Well, okay, there was someone dominating the heavyweight division. Was it Kane? No.
No, but Kane is one of those guys that was brought up. Kane was brought up.
Was he a heavyweight?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why he was so dominant. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Just because he was a fucking.
And on top, he was also dominant.
Big boy plus.
Yeah. He was brought up that way, and on top of that, because I think he has an extensive wrestling background.
That's what I'm saying.
And on top of that, dude, he had the cardio of a lightweight fighter. Cain Velasquez had the cardio.
Did he defend more than Stipe?
No,
right?
Stipe, up until that point, Stipe was the most title defenses, which is incredibly impressive.
That's impressive.
Yeah, okay. But again, we're seeing this. It's a trend that I started noticing this trend when Travis Brown came into the picture, because Travis Brown was the one that kind of got me to think, like, why is it that only the heavier guys can come in later in life with no extensive martial arts background whatsoever, maybe a little bit of wrestling here and there, and still dominate the fuck out of everybody?
If they're athletes,
because you don't see that with lightweight guys.
You can't.
Like, you don't, yeah, exactly. Like, a lightweight guy...
At that point, they're too quick and they got too much technique.
Yeah, like, even at the middleweight division, like, it just doesn't
if you can't
happen.
just one-tap anybody... like the heavyweights can.
Yeah.
I don't think you can be in the game like that.
Yeah. No,
you can't come in late like that.
No, you can't. Exactly. Like, you have to have some form. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just interesting. Yeah, but and of course, again, yeah, the heavier guys do have heavy hands, so you do have to be able to close the distance in order to get anything on these fucking guys. But yeah, it's MMA right now is at a very interesting point in time. Very interesting point in time. UFC in particular. That's not even including all the other organizations that are coming up. Everybody's forgetting about Ryzen. Everybody's forgetting about Bellator. Well, not Bellator. Bellator's still coming up. Bellator, and then of course there's one which I think is gonna. I think one is gonna like take over Bellator.
Oh, okay.
Not. I don't think the UFC. Like I think it's gonna be right behind. I think one is gonna be what Pride was in the 90s.
Okay.
You know,
so badass.
Yeah, badass. Exactly.
Pride was fucking awesome.
Pride was fucking awesome. Like I keep having to remind people about Pride.
Yeah.
Like I'm again because I train at Carlson Gracie, and so a lot of the guys from Carlson Gracie's gym, you know, dominated Pride in the 90s. You know, like everybody forgets about Waleed Ismail, who choked out a quarter of the Gracie of the main famous Gracies. You know, everybody obviously forgot about, well, not forgot, but not Tito, Vitor Belfort, you know, like he's a black belt under Carlson, and he dominated the Vale Tudo era of fighting. I mean, that's why I have a very special place in my heart for the guys that fought in Pride. Pride in general.
I just remember seeing some crazy shit in Pride,
yeah.
so that's why
well, dude, Kevin Randleman. Fucking Kevin Randleman, I think it was Kevin Randleman versus Kazushi Sakuraba. Sakuraba, in general, just dominating everybody. Sakuraba was just like a Japanese... Fedor, exactly. Crow Cop. Who else?
That nasty-ass head kick.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh. Dude, like, everybody forgets about that. And I'm like, no, dude, you can't forget. You can't forget all the great fights, not just Pride, but we have Pride, we have the UFC, and then we have Vale Tudo that happened before all of this, and that was happening in Brazil. You know, so just I have to be the historian that constantly has to remind all my friends, hey man, this happened. This fucking happened, and I wish it still happened, but I mean, you know, it's a throwback, you know, it's a throwback to the good old days where Styles made fights at that point. And I mean, to this day, still does. But it's just, it saddens me that we're coming up on the new generation of people, of fans of MMA who didn't know anything about Pride. Before, exactly. I was one of those in the very last, because I got into MMA right when Pride was sold to the UFC because, you know, of the whole controversy between the Yakuza.
But that gave us Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz. Finally, you know? So,
and of course, everybody forgot about that. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, fighting's the shit.
Fighting is the shit.
What's not the shit, though?
What?
The shit that's been the famous 15 minutes of fame that people have been doing recently.
All right, so apparently, and I just discovered this like an hour ago.
You're like a day late.
I'm always a day. I'm a day late always, and expected to be, because I don't have social media. Yeah. I have zero. And by the way, like he's the man. He's managing the social media. So hats off to you. You're a brave soul for still having social media. I got rid of social media, so I'm always a day late with all this shit. Anyway,
please direct your comments to me.
So apparently people are going around filming themselves licking ice cream at public grocery stores and putting it back in the freezer for other people to consume. Let that sink in for a second.
You got that?
This is the world we're living in. This is the world we are living in now. People want... Why?
Yeah, okay, there's been multiple people doing this, but it only took one, and like it was pretty severe consequences, and then they're still doing it. So I don't get what the fuck they're thinking.
I mean, hang on a second. Like, dude, think about that. Look, it's more than just that. Like, what if one of those people have herpes?
That's very scary.
Like, what the fuck?
I mean, yeah, like I'm sick. If I did that, I'd be fucking people up.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
This is the world we're living in now. We're living in the Twilight Zone, legitimately. If you go back 50 years and you show those people that were alive 50 years ago, and you tell them, hey, by the way, people are going to be eating soap and licking public ice cream. What do you think they would be? Their reaction would be, these people are insane. These people are insane. They're possessed by demons, and they need to be locked away in an asylum. I'm starting to notice this trend of people without souls, soulless people who are just easily manipulated into doing the dumbest things on the face of the earth, incredibly dangerous things. And here's the thing. Here's my thing. I was young once. I was a young lad, and I did a lot of retarded things. I've done many fucking stupid things in my life with my friends, and my friends and I have sat down. We've had this conversation where we sat down and said, how is it that we've made it this far without losing a limb or dying or anything really happening to us, and we came out unscathed? I've done a lot of stupid things, and I'm starting to become an elder statesman. I'm going up in years. I'm 27. I know some people would say you're still young, dumb fuck. Yeah. I know, probably. Who cares? Anyway, but I've experienced some things, and here's what I know for a fact. When I was in high school and I was a lot younger and I was doing all these stupid things, I was very conscious about this, and I said, you know what? I'm okay with doing stupid things as long as the consequences are only falling on my shoulders alone. If nobody else as long as nobody else is being affected, I'm okay with people doing stupid things. And that's fine. Just like people eating Tide Pods. They're welcome to eat Tide Pods. You can eat soap. This is America. You're free to do so. As long, because, and the great thing about you eating soap is you are the only one that dies.
Yeah, let evolution take its place.
Yeah, and you're the only one that dies. You're the only one that gets affected, and that's fine. However, when you go around and licking public ice cream in public places and then putting it back in public freezers for other people to consume, well, then you're putting other people in jeopardy. And that's not something that I am okay with, and I will never be okay with. And I've already told this to young people. I've talked to youngsters, and I've told them, look, man, I can't stop you from doing stupid things, okay? I know you're going to do stupid things. You're a retard. You're 17.
You said the R word.
Yeah. You're 17, you're 18 years old. By default, you're an absolute retard, okay? I get this because I was an absolute retard at that time, and I'm still a retard to this day. So I can't stop you from doing retarded things. What I can tell you is if you are going to do retarded things, just make sure that you understand there are consequences to your actions, and make sure that if those consequences were to arise, that you are the only one that's affected. As long as you have that in your, burned deep into your psyche, that's fine. I have no problem with it. Again, because that was my thing when I was young. When I was a youngster, again, I've done a lot of stupid things, but at the end of the day, I made those decisions with my own free will, okay? And I knew consciously and subconsciously that if things went south, I was the only one that was affected. Nobody else was. Like, I was the only one that was going to get hurt, and that's fine. I'm okay with being the only one that gets hurt. I am not, however, okay with other people being hurt or having to deal with consequences of my actions. Maybe it's called pride. Call it, I don't know, dignity, but that's it, That's all I can say about that.
Those people are also, the first girl that made it viral, it was like, I think she was definitely underage because it was supposed to be, I think, up to 20-year sentence in prison. She would turn out to be underage, so they get handed over to
the state.
That case gets handled to juvenile detention or whatever. Mm. So they get to choose what the fuck they're gonna do with her. But there's other people.
They're grown adults, yes, in their 30s that are doing this.
This guy tried to cover his tracks or try to cover himself. He bought the ice cream apparently. He did the video, put it back, and did it all. And the cops came to his house. He's like, no, see, it didn't. I mean, I did it, but it wasn't true because I bought it. And they're like, there's no way to prove that There's no way to prove that specific one because they still had to recall all of that ice cream. Oh, and that's the problem. Like, it costs companies millions.
It costs them, yeah, exactly. It costs millions. Oh my god!
Just because they have to recall the whole thing.
Yeah.
They can't be cautious about that. It's like the whole fridge has got to go. Kind of
yeah.
Shit.
All because of one fucking imbecile.
Yeah. So that's why they get that. If you're thinking, Oh, 20 years? That's fucking insane. Why would you do that to someone? I mean, they're being very inconsiderate.
Yeah.
That's fucking... That's a
This
lot.
is the world we're living in.
Yeah.
What world are we living in, man? Oh my god.
So yeah, he got screwed over. I think he's currently facing the charges right now or something.
20 years.
I don't know if he's going to 20 years because I don't know if he has like a... That's probably like if you're a criminal too or whatever. Or that's like a maximum sentence, but...
Imagine going to prison.
Yeah, for licking fucking ice cream.
Dude, you dude, I don't even know, man.
At that
like,
point...
yeah, you deserve everything that happens to you. Yeah, straight up, man. It's yeah, again, this is the world we're living in. I'm having a hard time believing this. And this is precisely why I left social media. Is because I don't, as much as I don't want to be exposed to this, it's inevitable. Like, I'm going to eventually find out about it. And I'm going to be very mad about it. And this is why Red Foreman is my spirit animal. Because I want to be 50 years old one day, sitting in my front porch, holding my shotgun and yelling at kids to get off my front lawn. That's the guy I want to be when I'm 50 years old.
Sure,
you know,
do that.
You know, everybody else wants to be cool and hip and all this fun stuff. I just want to be that guy that yells at kids.
I still want to be able to deadlift 400 pounds when I'm fucking old. That's what I want to do.
That's what you want to do?
Yeah. Or be able to climb.
I just want to roll when I'm old. That's all I want to do.
Do a lot of stem cells.
Speaking of rolling.
Oh. Well, hello there. I see what you did.
Yeah. So last topic is going to be about
the
weed.
devil's lettuce.
Yeah.
Apparently,
we're going to talk about weed.
Well, we both listened to the Joe Rogan podcast with what's his name?
Robert
Oberst.
Oberst, yeah. He's a power lifter, strongman.
Strongman.
Yeah, he's a strongman. Like,
those motherfuckers carry.
He's a big giant ball of meat.
Yeah, they drag like 70,000-pound trucks, or I don't know. It was some. They drag semis to win competitions.
Yes, exactly.
It's that kind of.
It's an admirable pursuit, and I tip my hat to this gentleman. Yeah. Anyway, I noticed that he mentioned that rather than taking Oxy and rather than taking Percocet and all those medications, painkillers, he just smokes a lot of weed. And I came to the conclusion now, me personally, I don't smoke weed. I don't do any of that stuff. However, if it came down to it, I came to the conclusion recently that if I ever do get have to have surgery, which I'm expecting that I might, because I'm, I compete and train in a full contact martial art. Chances are I might get injured. I've already accepted that fact. And I know that there's a good chance I may have to have surgery somewhere down the line. I don't know where. I feel fine now, but I mean, I leave it in the hands of God. But anyway, that's the only time I think I would ever indulge. And I don't even think indulge is the wrong word. I think I would just use it just as an alternative to pain medication. And again, I would use it. I would actually use it as medicine. I wouldn't use it recreationally. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
It's not my personal. It's just not my thing. But I would legitimately use it for actual pain management.
Yeah. And I mean, you might.
You're talking, and by the way, I'm telling you, like, I'm the least stoner guy on the face of the earth. I am not not the least, but like I'm not a big pot smoker or anything. Like, I don't do it. I just don't do it. However, I know that it is ultimately a better alternative than pain meds. So I think I've come to the conclusion that if and when the time arises when I have to get prescription pills for pain management, that's when I'll just go
fuck you
and I'll just go to my local weed store and buy weed. That's how much of a non-stoner I am. I still use weed. I still use the term weed or marijuana. Like, a lot of people use what are the kids using now? Like, what are the kids saying? Bud? Yeah, see, I don't use that term. I use the old school. I come from in the olden times when we called it weed. And yeah, that's I've come to the realization that.
But yeah, also you were. I got a random text from him like last week, and he's like, "Yo, what are your thoughts about CBD?"
Oh yeah, that's right,
like,
CBD.
I see really no downfall on CBD at all. Like,
Yeah.
I'd say there might be. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's almost like a vitamin. Like,
It really does seem like that.
You can literally take it any day, and it'll just be beneficial for you. Really.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and I hang out with a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, and it's funny because Sebastian and I were just talking to my coach yesterday about this. I just brought it up randomly because I was having trouble with my shoulders, super tight shoulders, since we started training in the gi, and we've been going over triangle defense this whole week, and just my shoulders and my upper traps and neck have just felt so tight, like unbearably tight, and it's like it's not painful, it's not a sharp pain, or it was just incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
have you tried to use the gun, the massage?
No,
gun?
I was thinking about doing that. I might do that today or tomorrow. But anyway, we were cleaning up and we were talking about recovery, and I just randomly mentioned CBD, and then my coach said, "Oh,
like
dude,
weed?
yeah,
What?
no, not weed."
Yeah,
It's like he's like CBD. He's like, dude, that shit works. That stuff really works. And he's very much like me in the sense that like he's not really a big pot smoker or anything like that. He's not into that. He even told me the other day, like he told me yesterday, he's like I went to this place in Anaheim. And at first I thought I was going to a dispensary, and I'm thinking, dude, this isn't my scene. It's going to be sketchy and all this and that. Yeah. I show up, and it's like a legitimate store that takes credit cards, and they're all professional. They have they seat you down. They give
there are those, and then there are the sketchy ones that I usually go to. But.
Anyway, yeah. So he was like telling me, he's like he was telling me because he was going there to get CBD, and he's like, dude, this isn't my scene. I'm like, dude, I'm on the same boat. Like, the whole pot dispensary stuff, it's just not my scene. It's not my thing. I don't go. So, like, it really does seem sketchy. And then he shows up. It's like, but these guys are professional. They all work off of iPads. They seat you down. They go wait to be seated. You will be called and blah, blah, this and that. And yeah. So
that's cool. Okay.
Yeah. So my coach apparently is super into CBD. And this all happened because I randomly brought it up, and he's like, "Yeah, I did it." And yeah, my coach and I are on the same boat in that sense. Like, we're not really pot smokers at all, but I mean, I know for sure we both have an open mind on this kind of stuff, and I know for sure, like, when it comes to weed, I would do it mainly for specific reasons, like post-op, or if I get an MRI and I discover I have a bulging disc of some sort, and they tell me, okay, you need to take 6 weeks off to jiu-jitsu to recover. That's the thing, is I'm already mentally prepared for stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's like, I know, okay,
shit happens.
Shit happens, and so I've already had a close call last year when I had my rhomboid was messed up, and this is a time where I should have probably started smoking. But yeah, I had a messed up rhomboid. It was strained, and so all the muscles around it were overcompensated. So I had to take like a month and a half off, almost 2 months off of jiu-jitsu.
Shit.
It sucked, and it was my first time having to take time off. Yeah. And I realized, oh wait, this ride doesn't last forever, so I need to be very conscious.
Too.
Exactly, which is why I also do strength training, because I don't do strength training just to look good naked. I do it also,
I think strength training is similar to CBD. It's like there's no downfall.
I mean, of course, done properly.
Yeah.
And
well, obviously, don't put CBD
as
actually that might hit you harder.
Maybe, yeah. But anyway, so yeah. So there's my take on that. Not really big on. I'm not a big pot guy, but if it comes down to it, I will do it, and that's that. This is a great conversation. I actually had a good time doing this one. It flowed really well. I enjoyed it very much. What about you?
I liked it.
Yeah. All right. Hope you guys liked it too.
I feel like it's just shooting the shit. We talked about fighting a lot.
Yeah, because we love fighting.
There you go.
And there's that. So stay tuned, and we'll see you around.
If there's any commenters yet, please let us know what you guys want us to talk about.
Yeah, let us know. We're down for anything, man.
All right. I'll love you guys later.
Later.